start off by saying congratulations on season 4 of The Chosen. What has this release been like building up to it and now getting to hear people's reactions to this?
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Yes, it's been incredible. I mean, I was a big fan of the show from season one, so seeing it open, has been quite interesting, both as a fan who obviously got a sneak preview this year and got to read the scripts, but then now you get to see it happen. That was cool. The reactions has always been quite crazy. I always say the Chosen family has this kind of crazy level of unconditional love that I haven't experienced ever. So, the level of, they're so generous and kind. And I imagine, with the character being replaced, there's always, some people who might be upset or some people might be like, oh no, that other guy, but everyone's so supportive, the level of messages and encouragement and it's just so much kindness that comes from, the response. So I'm uh jaw dropped really. So thanks.
Yeah, I love how positive this whole fan base is, but as an actor, is it difficult stepping into a notable role like this? And did you face any challenges when bringing him to life?
Yes. I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I've always, worked on projects that I'm just, you get your liberty. And in this case, Dallas gave me that liberty and he's really sweet, but also I felt responsible as someone who was also a fan of the show, not to just kind of bring myself and kind of completely give something brand new because, especially we're in season 4, it's like we're already halfway in. So it was tricky because I had to like obsessively watch a lot of the clips of the previous Philip, which I was also very happy with the portrayal, but almost like an apprentice. Like I had to almost like let things sink in that was going on in terms of like choices and mannerisms and things like that. Um, and it was sort of a physical work to try and adapt the body to make it a blend between my own instincts and then other people's instincts or his instincts and try to make it something that becomes sort of uh, cohesive experience. Yeah, it was very interesting because he had things that brought to it that I wouldn't have thought about, and that made it almost like a collaborative experience artistically. And exploring the character was also interesting because I always like to see what's similar and what's different, and what's different you try and find, connection points with, and that's where we talk about challenges. Philip is the similarities were the sort of nomadic thing and the sort of philosophical aspect and the maybe like some running away from home and family and parents and stuff like that. um the other side of it was the practical skills, the sort of more sort of comedic thing, um and the practical skills and also being good with the wilderness was something that was quite hard and I had to like get used to that. And I'm a kind of ends of the earth guy, so I went to random hikes that normally I would be afraid of and encountered snakes that I would have been afraid of, and would sleep on the fields that critters would be crawling, just for the sake of making it a physiologically, make my body be relaxed with those things because I'm kind of weird and I think those things contribute to
I feel like that's a big commitment, though.
truthful portrayal. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
You gotta let the character touch you in some ways, even if it freaks you out.
definitely. I mean, it sounds like you went through a lot for this. Do you think it's taught you anything that you'll bring to future projects or taught you anything as an actor?
Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, in terms of the preparation and process, it took a lot of endurance because it was a very long shooting schedule for like 4 months, and pretty much every day. That's we see one day one scene where we're walking through the wilderness, but that takes maybe a whole day's work under the sun and so on. So in terms of just endurance and being able to hold things for long periods of time, it's important because there's various angles and you're almost always in there, but from a different angle because everyone needs to be covered. Um, but other than that, I mean, yeah, this process of creating a cohesive character from someone from the past. I mean, I, I, I have that in my back pocket now. And what else? I mean, yeah, it's just the level of, I guess, love that came from the fans. It gave me some deep sense of I mean, I guess confidence that that when you put your work in, the response tends to come back. I always say, if you lead with love, love comes back to you. So I guess
Definitely.
it's just a confirmation of that. And then again, sometimes you work with things that you don't have control over, and that's like learning to surrender and leaning to the unknown. That's something I'm always about. But being in this project, it sort of tested that on so many levels. So I guess that was another thing I took.
I mean, it sounds like a labor of love, so I can't complain on that part.
Definitely. No, same. I agree.
Yeah, but if you could describe this experience, but also this season as a whole in 3 words, what would they be?
Um, I'd say paradox. I'd say faith and um, hmm, uh, transformation.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about you. I know you're also a big advocate for diversity in Hollywood. Can you talk about why it means so much to you getting diverse casting in such a big space like Hollywood?
Um, I think it's just, I mean, for me, I also come from a kind of psychology background because I studied psychology. So I look at it more like I think that humanity, both as an individual and the collective, kind of is sometimes finds it difficult to, we build these sort of norms of comfort, and then whatever is outside that norm or that boundary can feel terrifying or different or not so good, and so I think uh, for me, the way I understand diversity and the beauty that I feel like is happening is we're breaking away from uh, the sort of the walls are good, boundaries are good. I think the difference is make them porous and dare to have dialogue. And I think that's sort of something I always believe in. It doesn't have to be black or white, either this or that, but rather let's have dialogues and have explore new ways. I think creativity and play and art is one of the best avenues for transcending above the sort of categorical game that goes on in the world. And I think the more everybody can lean towards that sort of let's lean into the unknown, let's uh, let that expand our sense of repertoire of what humanity is about. That's a wonderful opportunity, I think. But yeah, it comes from, I think, play, love, humanity, rather than playing games of, I suppose, power or fear. So I guess that answers it. I don't know.
Definitely, definitely. I love how you put it. But my last question for you, obviously this release has been exciting, but do you have any future projects that you could hint at or talk about?
Of course, yeah. I have a couple of projects coming. I mean, currently, the one that just came out was Persian version, which was a lovely thing. I kind of say it's a cross between Meet the Fockers and The Godfather. That's why it's taken a lot of interesting reception, but in the Persian version, of course. Um, and then, going forward, there's the one of the ones I'm excited about is reading Lolita in Tehran, which is basically a book adaptation about a true story of a literature professor, Azar Nafisi, played by my hero, Golshifteh Farahani, who was an honor to work with. And coming back to Iran just as the revolution has happened, and now the universities are being shut down because of the cancel culture. And going back to what we're talking about, the fear of the unknown and the sort of power games that are going on as a result. So there are interesting discussions about is Gatsby a positive message or a sinful message based on the backdrop that we're going to be looking at it from. And again, getting to work on that project was very, very meaningful to me, both because of working with Golshifteh, both because of speaking about this diversity, with getting to work with a whole set of Iranians from across the world, young up and comings, as well as established, and the great director Aaron Brickless, who again, it was a deep joy and honor to work with. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. He needs to know that, so shout out to him. But yeah,
Yeah, I love how passionate you are about all of your projects, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
thank you so much, and thank
Yeah.
you for